Chapter 13, Rule Number 2. My dad arrived just in the nick of time. If he had been a minute later, I would have gone to Plan B, and who knows how scary that might have been. My dad did not scream. He did not yell. He did not turn eggplant or edamame or Chinese radish or danger alert orange. He was not pleased with the psychotherapist's report, but he did not bust me either. Louise headed for home, making all right-hand turns because she cannot turn left anymore. She has AA, automotive arthritis. She is that old. And I knew I was headed for trouble. I was thinking of getting a head start on all the crying and wailing I needed to do to soften the blow coming to me. When Louise made a couple of unexpected right turns, and before I knew it, she had pulled right in front of Brigham's ice cream. "Did you take a wrong turn?" I squeaked from the back seat. "Usually we go to Brigham's to celebrate a birthday or a good report card, but never before for cursing a grown-up." "No, son," my dad said. "I love it when he calls me that. I like it even more than my own name, which I like a lot." "Then why are we here?" I asked. "Therapy is rough, right?" I nodded. "I had a rough day too," said my dad. I held my breath. "So we need to stick together," my dad went on, "and we need some ice cream." "Oh?" I said. "The last time I didn't get the punishment coming to me. I ended up with something worse. Way worse." "You mean I'm not getting busted?" I asked. "No, son," said my dad. "Normally I love it when he calls me that. But this was not normal." Inside, my dad and I walked past other children eating ice cream with their parents. We scooted into a booth. Tears streamed down my cheeks. "Ah!" I wailed, just in case. Our waitress stepped back. Then I wailed some more. After that, I felt much better. The triple monkey triple fudge with whipped cream and cherries on top helped too. But my dad was the most helpful of all. We had a heart-to-heart, man-to-man talk just between me and my dad. And this is what I discovered. 1. My dad tries to be kind to everyone. 2. He loves superheroes. 3. But he wouldn't rather be one. 4. He'd rather be my dad than anything else in the whole universe. 5. If he could change anything about himself, it might be his bald spot. Maybe. 6. If he could change anything about me, it would be nothing. 7. He didn't have a friend until he traded someone named Carl Yatsmirsky rookie for a Hank Aaron rookie. 8. Sometime after that, they were best friends. 9. His wish for me is to find a good friend. 10. His second wish for me is that I'd enjoy Shakespearean curses only for fun, not for insulting someone. "Son," said my dad, "I know it's frustrating and change comes very slowly, but you're making good progress in your therapy." Then my dad explained that while rule number 1 of being a gentleman is no hitting, rule number 2 is no cursing or insulting. "Not at all?" I asked. "Not one word," he said. Then my dad stood up and puffed out his chest. He looked 10 feet tall. My dad is amazing. I stood up. I puffed out my chest. I did not look 10 feet tall. I didn't even look half that size. But it was okay. "Ready, son?" he said. "Ready, Dad." Then I put my arm around him and we went home. It was the best time I ever had with my dad. Chapter 14, The Apes of Math. I was making great progress. I could finally remember some things about being a gentleman. How to be a gentleman. Number 1, no hitting. Number 2, no insulting. Number 3, no making anyone cry, even if she is a girl who has only one eye. 4, Apologize if you break rule number 3. 5. Don't duke it back. See rule number 1. 6. Lend a scratching hand to someone with pox. Number 7. Take care of your things. I could hardly believe it. Suddenly, I was closer to being a gentleman, but I was not any closer to having friends. Fortunately, I remembered that I had some good advice about that from Calvin. It was right there in my PDK. Calvin's rules for making friends. 1. Say hello. 2. Just say hello. 3. Trade baseball cards. 4. Trade more baseball cards. 5. Just trade baseball cards. The list was useless until I crossed off 1. Say hello. 2. Just say hello. No, it was perfect. And since the advice had come from Calvin, I was sure that he meant his baseball cards on account of I didn't have any. And because he didn't write his name on his baseball cards, it could only mean one thing. But I asked anyway. Calvin, I said, could I borrow a couple of your best cards? Sure, said Calvin. It was late, and he was fast asleep. I should have been asleep too, but I am often up with my flashlight reading or making lists because I am afraid of the dark. It's a great time to talk to Calvin on account as he's always pretty agreeable, not like he is during the day. And it certainly sounded like Calvin said, sure. The next day, I gave the Hank Aaron rookie to Pinky. He said nothing. Then I gave him the Carl Yatsmersky rookie. He said nothing. Then I had nothing else to give. Man, Pinky finally said. He stuffed the trading cards into his back pocket and walked away. Then slowly, my life began to change. At recess, Pinky kicked the soccer ball past where I was standing. It was fantastic. Then during library time, Pinky grabbed Sam's book, so Sam grabbed it back. Then Pinky took it again, so Sam kicked him, which made Naya jump on Pinky. All this happened right in front of me, between the shelves on earthquakes and volcanoes, and the shelves on bats and whales. If I had poked out my arm, I could have gotten it broken in several places, which is practically an invitation to jump right in, which I would have done if the librarian hadn't leaped first. Then in math class, we got a worksheet on the cost of Henry David Thoreau's house. How much did Henry's house cost? Boards, $8.03. Used shingles, $4. Laths, $1.25. 2 secondhand windows, $2.43. 1,000 old bricks, $4. 2 casks of lime, $2.40. Hair, 31 cents. Mantle tree iron, 15 cents. Nails, $3.90. Hinges and screws, 14 cents. Latch, 10 cents. Chalk, 1 cent. Transportation, $1.40. Total, $28.12. Math is okay. I don't have to read anything out loud. No one holds their breath to see if I'm going to take my turn or pass. The first question asked, what material cost Henry the least? Well, that was easy. Next, how many bricks did Henry buy? Well, that was easy too. Psst, hissed Pinky. What's the answer? I was on his radar again. I could hardly believe it. My dad and Calvin were right. Baseball cards really do work. Pinky leaned over and copied my answers onto his paper. Not only was I on Pinky's radar, but all my answers were on his paper too. Then he motioned for Eli to copy his paper. Then Scooter leaned over and copied from Eli. Ahem, said Flea. Flea has only one eye, which is okay. But unfortunately, that eye sees everything, which is annoying. Cheaters are losers, she said disapprovingly. Cyclops are losers, Pinky hissed back. Flea gasped. Fauntleroy, said Miss P. That's Pinky's real name. Flaunt- Fauntleroy, but no one ever calls him that except for grown-ups. Would you please come up to the board and answer the first question? Pinky went up and wrote his answer. My answer. That's very good, Fauntleroy, said Miss P. You're getting quicker and better at math. Pinky beamed. Then he sat down. Flea gave him the eye. Then Eli took his turn, and Miss P said he did a fine job. But when he got back to his seat, he got the eye too. Next, Scooter got his turn, and Miss P said he was great. Normally, he is not great in math. Numbers are a mystery to him. He got the eye. Then before I knew it, math class was over. In fact, school was over, and I never got my turn. Only the apes of math got turns. It was not fair. I was as mad as a salmon swimming upstream. And so was Flea. Her eyes were big and round. It's really not fair you didn't get your turn, said Flea as we were leaving. I nodded. After all, they were all your answers, she added, just as we passed Miss P standing in the doorway saying goodbye to everyone. I was really glad that Flea let Miss P know. Then we got on the bus. Hey, Buddy, Pinky said when I sat down. Buddy? He was calling me Buddy? You're okay, said Pinky, sitting down next to me, but you got to get rid of that girlfriend of yours. He laughed and pointed at Flea, who had sat down in the seat in front of me. I shrank. I knew that Flea took no nonsense, but Pinky didn't know. He was this close to taking an uppercut from her. Maybe you should play with us sometime, said Pinky. Really? I could hardly wait. The wheels on the bus went round and round. We bounced up and down. But you'll have to do a few things first, said Pinky. Like what? I asked. I'll let you know, said Pinky. Does everyone have to do them? I asked. Just you, said Pinky. It's a new rule, dude. I swallowed. Okay, I swallowed. Dude.